welcome to the Inventci walkthrough. I just want to take a moment to go through the software, go through the highlights, and just touch on the main components of the platform and how to get things going in your classroom. So let's jump right in. I'm going to start with signing up. So we go to sign up for free, and we don't use passwords. We use the magic link, as it's called. And you actually use the magic link for everything. So when you first start, but also when you go back and you log in, you just get a magic link. But you'll stay logged in as long as you don't log out for a while. So you just click on the magic link. It says check your email for the login link. In my case, I've got my webmail here. Let's see what happens. There it is. It shows up. Confirm your Inventci sign up. So you'll get something similar to this. You want to click on the confirm your email, and it will take you back to Inventci, and you should get a hello at Inventci. So you know you've signed up and you're ready to roll. You get that. So I'm gonna close out my mail, and we're gonna focus now on Inventci. So it's that easy to get going. You will automatically have an account created for you. In this case, it's calling me demo because that was the beginning of my email. So we want to make it really easy just to start. So if your email is your name, you don't have to change it. But if you want to change it, you go to edit profile here, and I'm going to call it, it'll be like a teacher, Mr. Fox. And of course, I'm going to use the Fox as the avatar. You can drag, or you can click open here and add a photo if you want. That will just add more personalization to your account, and maybe we'll go further with this later and add some more social capabilities and features. But for now, you can do that. I'm gonna wait. So it's okay. Its profile has been updated. Let's go back to the dashboard, and it may look like there's a lot going on here, but we want to focus on classes. So there's a class right here. It says one managed class. When you first start, a class is already created for you. It's just called My First Class. Everything's built off the class. You have a class with students. You have a class, this is where you do all your creative sessions. They all filter under that. So if you think of it as a hierarchy, you have your class, sessions, and then everything goes underneath those. You could have more than one class. So if you wanted to click add class in case you teach more than one class. We had that very often before with teachers who would teach multiple creative thinking type classes, and they would really appreciate the fact that they could have more than one class and keep everything separate. So anyway, so we come in here, if we want to, we click the pencil, and we can edit this. Let's just call it like Fox's Creative Experience, and let's use this planet. And then so in here you can select your different grade levels. So this is more about when you're doing the AI assessments, it knows what kind of tone of voice to respond in. So if you're the younger grades, you're going to get more softer responses. I don't think anything's really going to be hard, but you can actually adjust those settings later. I'll show you that. So we're just going to say third and fourth grade. And then these colors are for if you have multiple classes and you want to know which class you're in when you're going through the pages outside of the dashboard, you can see what color it is. So if you're doing multiple classes, you'll know, okay, this is another class and I need to get out of there, and you can easily switch from the front end as well. But I'm going to go with this green, and look at that. So there it is. So to get into your class, you just click on this. You click on this card, and you see you have your student roster, and then you also have your challenge history, which we haven't done any challenges yet, so nothing's in there. But I want to start with this roster. We're not connected into any rostering system. You can perhaps export from your rostering system if you want to input the names of your students in there through a CSV file, and you can upload that. Or made it really easy. So all you need is a preferred name. So if someone's nickname, or if it's Steve K, or something like that, then that's all you need. We got 6 students there. And let's jump into the challenges. So challenges, there's a few types of challenges. We have curated types, which is invent, like this is what Inventci started with. And then we also have reinvent, which is based off of design it better. So let me just show you those quickly. Invent or Inventci are these creative thinking challenges that you have in here. So like design a car for a giraffe, get the dishes down off the shelves. There's always some sort of constraint that makes it a little bit more difficult, so it's not as easy as you think, and it makes your students think about what they can do, what they can invent, or what they can design to solve these problems. There are these stars here, which eventually, when this system gets used more, will be a rating system. So you can come up and say it's top rated, or if you wanted to see which ones they all are, you can always order them like that. But yeah, so when you start clicking here, let's see, floaty farm, you get to a main screen. It shows the main description and exactly what's happening here. So there's an image to kind of show the framing of the challenge, and then down here you have a simple sentence. You don't want to get too much into bells and whistles. You really want the thinking to come from the students. So a lot of this is prepping for this teacher. So how long it's going to take. We talk about 30 minutes per exercise. It can be quicker, it can be shorter, it could be longer. You could skip some of these different steps, or you can make them faster or slower. You'll start realizing what works for you in your classroom, and where you can kind of flow through these quicker than not. So the other challenge, curated challenge, is reinvent, which again is design it better. So taking typical objects and improving them. So how do you make a better alarm clock? Same type of thing. We have these are faster, 15-minute suggested challenges. You can do them in 2 minutes, or however, whatever works for your classroom. And so we have these suggestions of how to do it. So if you're not an experienced creative thinking teacher, you can just follow along here and work with your students. That was a lot of what we designed this for, including the AI components, which I'll show you shortly. So the non-curated, there's an AI component here. This is Ask Leo, with Leo's short for Leonardo da Vinci, and become kind of the AI guru, let's call it. So in here you can ask him, and he generates a prompt. So you can click on this generate creative prompt, or you can click on here and you can specialize what kind of prompt you want through the subject areas and the thinking and skills focus. So if you're doing if you're doing a social studies lesson, and maybe you can go with world cultures, you can click up to 3. Maybe you want to do resilience and systems thinking, and that's good. Let's see what they come up with, and feed it into Leo, and you'll get something that frames the challenge, and then there's a task. And so the task is always a little different. Of course, the challenge, since these are made up as a prompt. The Great Global Resilience Fair, Cultures Unite. Imagine you are a special reporter for the World Times, and you've been invited to the most extraordinary event ever held, the Great Global Resilience Fair. This lively fair showcases how different cultures around the world have adapted to challenges and thrive through resilience. Each culture booth features a mesmerizing artifacts, vibrant costumes, and indigenous inventions that highlight how these communities have tackled obstacles such as natural disasters, food shortages, or economic hardships. The air buzzes with excitement as you wander through the melting pot of global creativity. Design and draw your own resilience booth, inspired by a real-world culture. Include elements like traditional clothing, foods, tools, and any unique systems or inventions that showcase how the cultures overcome challenges and stays strong. So So very interesting, and all of these, they're easy to understand from a young age to up into an adult. It's just that as a teacher, the responses you expect are going to be greater. So you can get incredible results from a third grader, but you're not expecting them to be the same as a 12th grader. But what you really want is your students to think more and think long and hard about these challenges. So let me go into a challenge now. I picked a reinvent challenge to kind of show how this process would work. So the idea, of course, is that there's a big screen or a monitor at the front of the class or on the side of the class, however it's set up, just that everyone can see it. And Inventci gives you the option of the students drawing online. So if they have Chromebooks or tablets, they can do that and they can tie into them. I'll show you how to do that. So, but you can also draw on paper and also show you how to do that. The idea is to get this artwork into the system, so that then you can monitor it and you can assess it through a couple different ways. So you go here and you say, okay, well, let's do this one. We're going to design a better backpack. We want to draw online, and we're going to start the challenge. So it comes up to this page, and we'll get to. So there's a code here, and that's what you'll use. That's what the students will use on their digital devices if you're not drawing on paper. So you just go. Let's check out this screen first. So this is going to be on your big screen. There's not much to it. Of course, you have a backpack. You say, let's just design a better backpack. Often you can do collaboration. If you're going to do collaboration, you have this group generator. So if your group size is 3, you can generate 2 groups without causing some sort of chaos when you tell your students to define groups. It makes it a little bit easier, so people don't get left out, and there's not so much tension just to start. But a lot of times this is done individually, and the students will get right to it. There's the viewing submissions, which will show once the artwork starts coming in. We'll just list that. This is if you want to turn off a submission, so your students don't just continue to upload more and more. You can turn it off. And then here's a timer in case you want to use the timer that was suggested from the guiding steps. And then there's also upload work, which if you have offline drawing on paper, I'll show you that in a second as well. So here's this code down here as well, and I'm going to switch browsers to Safari. So this is the student view. Coming in here, we're going to join the session. So it's essentially a full page drawing canvas, and if they get the challenge, you get kind of the challenge here, and they can turn that on and off, but they should be able to see the challenge on the big screen. So here you have different drawing drawing methods, let's go. There's a marker, you have a pencil, there's all those little different, there's a paintbrush, you have some chalk here, so just a whole bunch of things that you can use. This line tool if you wanted to draw like boxes or things like that. But there's also primitives. You have a triangle, box, and then let's change the color. So you can keep changing the color and it comes up like that. There's an eraser. You can change the brush size. So if you want to erase a bunch of stuff, you have that. And then you can always just write stuff here. So it has everything that a student would need. I've tested this with my daughters. They're 8 and 6. They loved it. So anyway, so this is, we're going to draw a backpack. So that's a backpack. And now when you're done, you're going to say submit. The student's going to submit to Mr. Fox, and shelf monitor 3000. So they can put a name in there, and then they select their name. I'm going to be Susie, and so it takes a second for it to come up, and then now let me switch back. So we'll switch back to the teacher mode, and so now we're back. This is be the big screen. This is going to be the big screen thing again. View. So if you submissions, there's Susie. So now I want to show you if you're doing if you're doing paper. I've already done these two. I did these a little while ago. And so let's just say you're walking around the class and people are like, I'm done. So you would go over here with your phone. You know, if you're okay with using your phone for teaching. I don't know if you do that. If you don't, then you can scan it in later. But this is just would be the easiest. So you're gonna take photos of. So get in the camera, and we're going to go take the photo, and go to the next one. And then we're going to go to this upload work and check out the QR code. Connect with the session. Where you can check out your photos, upload them, and then you can select the student. So it says Steve K made this stacker. Submit those. Turn this off. This takes a little bit of time, but it's really, I think this is probably the best way to get the student work into the system without having to go through and do all the scanning. If you're up for it, if you're okay with that. And then when you get to submissions, there they are. So when you have these here, if you wanted to do presentations, then you can use that within the big screen. So have Carla come up, and then she explains what's going on with this voice control book retrieval. And so yeah, so it's really kind of it's a great way to be able to do both offline and online. So if you don't want to do any of the electronic stuff or very minimal, you can use that to get the student work into the system. All right, so now that that's done, which normally would take 15 minutes or so, or if it depends on how much presenting you'll do. It's up to you. But let's go back into the dashboard to kind of see how this ties into the assessment and how to manage everything. So when you go back to classes, there's Fox's creative experience. There's the roster. We want to go into challenge history, and within here you have the design a better backpack, and click on submissions, and there they are. So, but actually to manage this session management AI tools, we want to go here, and there they are. Within that, the student is listed there, a title, you score, feedback, follow-up questions, and also something called a take-home lesson. And so what we're going to do here is just show the assessment to start with. You can add your own scores, you can add your own feedback, but you can also do an assessment, and that will fill all that in. So if assessment, and it'll take, for 3, it'll take about maybe like 40 seconds. So if you have a class of 25, you might start it and maybe go get a drink or something, come back, because it has to go through all of it, has to read all of it. Actually, the first thing it does is it checks to make sure that no one's uploaded anything that's not safe for school. So it goes through that check, and then it goes through the check of what the content is, and then it does the assessment. And we'll get through. I'll show you what it actually assesses and how it scores. And that's what we have right now. If we have more feedback or we need to adjust that, then we'll do so. Okay, so let's check out the stacker from Carla. It's easier to check the details if you click here, and it has a score of 90. This is a wonderfully creative design. The inclusion of voice control and auto sorting shows a forward-thinking approach to making backpacks smarter. The retractable wheels and removable shelves add practicality and adaptability. While some features may be difficult to implement with current technology, your ideas are innovative and inspiring. Keep thinking outside the box. So that's the basic feedback. There's these follow-up questions if teachers don't know or don't feel comfortable with coming up with all these things, because you want to keep them thinking about their design and what comes next. So I included these follow-up questions. There's teachers' notes that you can put in here just to add your spin on things, but you can also change the feedback. If you want to just add more, you can, or if you don't like theirs at all, if you don't like the AIs, you can just remove it and put your own in. But here's the full AI assessment. You have the score, there's 90, and it actually shows the breakdown and why it was scored to that. So the feasibility was what kind of took a hit there, because some of these things just can't happen. But you can adjust that, and I'll show you in a second. And then, so here's the feedback and also the follow-up questions. So one of the interesting things we had, and we learned from Imagine Go, was that students really, they start the thinking in the classroom, but they keep thinking about it, because we would talk to them later, weeks later, and they would come back and say, I was thinking about that, and they wanted to tell you about it. And so it stays in their head. So we did this take-home lesson, which you can use to keep the conversation going with them. They keep it going with their parent or their grown-ups at their house, to really continue to think about this. And they can take it and continue to let it evolve. So we have the image. We have something about, like, we have those questions here. We also have, like, talk about it. You can talk about it at a dinner table or whatever, and then draw a second version. So this is something that it's meant to just keep the creativity going until the next time, because they will continue to think about it. You think about it at some point, like, I should have said that, I should have done that, and you can always revisit this. This link here it's open the whole time, so you can always send it however you send your homework, digital homework back with the students. Parents can get to it, anyone can get to it, as long as they have this link and it's valid. So it could be shared. And those can be downloaded and they can be printed as well. And then when you have enough work from students, you can actually click on the student and start understanding the trends. So it requires 3 pieces of artwork or of student work, and they can be assessed by Leo, or you can assess it yourself. So you have your teacher summary, or you have the ability to start seeing the trends within their creativity through multiple submissions of their work. All right, so let me just quickly go through a few things here. There are custom challenges you can make as a teacher. You can make your own challenge, which is just like your title, your short description. It could be an Inventci, or it could be a reinvent, and then you can upload an image that you want, that kind of helps embody that challenge. So you can do that. There's also this open drawing, which is it's like a custom challenge, except it's a little quicker. I mean, there's no the challenge doesn't really have to be there. You kind of just say, this is the title and a short description, and go. have some time and you want to see what your students can do, it's a good way of doing that. It also opens up a session so that their work gets put into the session that you can later assess it. So it's always this kind of this hierarchy of a class. Your class has sessions, and then within your sessions, you have all the different drawings. So it's an easy way to actually manage all of that. So as far as AI settings go, you can, like I said, you can change it if you wanted to have different types of weights for your assessment. So here's like, real world, the feasibility is really high. You can just slide it too. So if you wanted it to be super feasible, you can just jack these down and this one up. There's also strictness. If you go really strict, there's a balance and there's a lenient. The balance is still pretty lenient. So strict is a little bit more. The whole system is it's biased not to get your students down. You want creativity to be sparked. You don't want an AI that's telling them that none of this can be done, because this is creative thinking, it's imaginative thinking, it's a way of getting them to think about things and not just be stuck behind a video game or whatever it is that's occupying their minds. So let's see if we have anything else here. So that's about all that we did. This is a free version. You get a certain amount of assessments and a layout prompts. If you're going to use this as a professional, it's $10 per month, $84 per year. If you're going to use it for your school or district or anything bigger than that, as a single teacher, then just let me know, and we can talk about how this can work with larger systems. And also, if you want something customized as well, I built this myself. I'm customizing it myself. If you see something like this or an opportunity at your district or your state, and you want to implement something that's similar, that's a little bit more customized for your curriculum, just let me know. So thanks for sticking with this. I'm gonna try to edit it down to a quicker video, and but hopefully, if you have any more questions and or feedback or suggestions on what I can do with Inventci, then just let me know. Thanks, and I look forward to your feedback and